Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. As we think about life and the various trials that we have to endure in this life, it might be that oftentimes we think of those hardships and trials in a very negative way. We see them as situations and circumstances that we would rather avoid. And when we consider the possibility of them happening in the future, we look upon them with dread and intrepidation, and we really don't want to go through those dark places in life. Well, as we read Psalm 66, we're going to find that even though trials are difficult and they're not easy, we never want to downplay the difficulty of trials. That's why they're trials. Yet there are some benefits that come from trials that will perhaps help us to have a different perspective, both as we consider future trials that we might have to endure, as we consider perhaps present trials that we're undergoing, and then also as we look retrospectively at trials that we've experienced in the past. We can look at these things through the lens of Psalm 66 and see that there are at least three benefits that come from the trials that God allows to come into our lives. First, let me read the verses and then we'll see these three things come out. In verse 8 of Psalm 66, it says, "Bless our God, O peoples, and sound his praise abroad, who keeps us in life and does not allow our feet to slip. For you have tried us, O God. You have refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net. You laid an oppressive burden upon our loins. You made men ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, yet you brought us out into a place of abundance." Here, the psalmist recognizes that God is the one that was behind this trial. He says, "You have tried us, O God. You have refined us as silver. You brought us into the net. You laid an oppressive burden upon our loins. You made men ride over our heads." See how he's attributing this trial to God. However, this is in the context of praise. He started out by saying, "Bless our God, O peoples, and sound his praise abroad." He's not saying these things to cast accusation against God, or not referring to these things in a negative way, but this is all in a positive light. And again, there's three reasons why the psalmist could look back on what they had gone through and reflect on this in a very positive way. Three good things that came out of this. One was, in verse 9, he says, "He keeps us in life and does not allow our feet to slip." This is one principle or one truth that should help us as we consider trials. And that is that God won't allow our feet to slip. And we talked about this in a previous devotion, how God holds our hand. Whenever we come across those slippery surfaces, that dangerous terrain that we have to traverse sometimes, we have God holding our hand, keeping us steady, walking us through those difficult places and seeing us through them. And so as we consider the trials of this life, we can be encouraged to know that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to hold all the more tighter to my Father's hand and to see his powerful work in my life as he steadies me, as he strengthens me, and as he guides me. The second thing we see here is that trials have a refining aspect to them. He says, "You have refined us as silver is refined." Trials have a way of refining us. Whenever we go through a season of good times, whenever everything is going well in our lives, when everything is really good, there's always the danger that in those good times that a mixture begins to take place in our hearts. The world is treating us good, life is treating us good, and therefore we begin to we begin to lose focus on God. And what perhaps was the times in which we made God our greatest desire, now our hearts become mixed with many different desires. And trials have a way of refining us. Trials have a way of burning away that excess material in our heart and in our soul to bring us back to that singular state again, to where we have to fall on our knees and seek the Lord, and only seek the Lord, because we know He's the only one who can help us. All the other things that we trusted in, all the other things we delighted in, don't mean anything in light of this trial, this storm that we're going through. And we have to cast ourselves down upon the Lord. And that has a refining element to it. And it's really, in a sense, good for our soul, because, again, it brings us back to a singular purpose in life. But then he goes on to say that on the other side of the trial was blessings. He said, yet you brought us out into a place of abundance. That's the other good thing about a trial. If we endure, if we hold fast to the Lord, if we hold fast to His hand as He's steadying us, as He's strengthening us, and as He's guiding us, and if we will allow the refining process to refine our faith and not burn our faith away, but cause our faith to shine all the more, there's blessing on the other side. And the Lord has made countless promises in His word that those who endure hardships, those who hold on to their faith and hold fast to the Lord, they are going to be blessed. And sometimes it happens in this life. Sometimes blessings happen, like with Job, and how well he was blessed after he went through the trial. And other times we might have to wait until we're, on the other side, when we're with God through eternity. But even then, that's going to be blessings eternal, and blessings in such abundance that we won't even be able to recount them all. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But we have blessings on the other side of the trial, and that should help us to be encouraged as we think about the trials of this life. And so these are three truths that we can hold on to whenever we can consider trials, whether future trials, present trials, or trials we went through in the past. We know that God is holding our hand. He won't allow our feet to slip. We also know that the Lord is refining us in the trials, and that also there are blessings on the other side. And these are wonderful blessings that can come from a trial. It doesn't mean that the trial is easy, or that it's we can just glide through it just because we have these three truths, but they at least give us perspective as we go through the trials, and perhaps help us to hold on all the more to our Lord and all the more to our faith, so that we can see the wonderful blessings that He has prepared for us. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do a reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.